They can't help but fit it in. They can't help it. Just say, hey, look, we're totalitarian, okay? And by the way, when these people blame the unvaccinated, they're still locking down in countries where they are almost entirely vaccinated. A 4-year-old boy with leukemia has now been evicted from the Ronald McDonald house. And this is in Canada, so in British Columbia, because I know some Americans are like, Britain? No. British, it's a silly place. They still have the Queen on their money. It's the only country that gained its right to be a country by just saying uncle to the royalty.
Everybody else threw off the shackles except
Oh my gosh, I cannot stand Canada. And I am it. British Columbia, this kid's kicked out of a Ronald McDonald house because he isn't vaccinated. So we have a video here of the pissed off dad. It is heartbreaking. But this is just remember this when the left tries to say that they're the party of compassion. Remember this.
So this is a piece of paper. Can Lindsay zoom in on it? This is an eviction notice, I believe, to anybody older than 5 who's not vaccinated is getting evicted from Ronald McDonald House. So I'm just gonna go talk to people at the counter and see if it's legit now.
They send out eviction notices?
Manager here or somebody?
well, like you have to get vaccinated or you have to leave.
The
kid's 4.
Last night. Yes. It's just pretty disturbing. I'm just wondering if it's legit. Is this saying that like everybody who's not vaccinated is getting evicted?
Well, we have a grace period to which you can
of 2 weeks
get your first dose, but essentially as of January 17th, it's a board mandate from our board.
So I just want to get this straight. So by the end of the month, my 4-year-old boy with leukemia is getting evicted because we don't have a vaccine.
The parents.
This is if he was 6 months older. He would be getting evicted.
That looks like spina bifida.
You're going
it's the Gollum-itis.
There's a few weeks notice.
I'm so mad right now, I don't even know where to go.
Some kind of crazy evil like I have never seen in my life.
Yeah, first off, the most important thing is that lady has disproportionately short legs. She looks like when I do the bit of like I'm a midget, but I put my knees in slippers.
Yeah.
And she's in there, we have a grace period. No, Grace is the other girl you evicted and died 4 weeks ago. Oh. And this is just, we're going...
Dwarf on sign.
Hold on a second. Isn't the Ronald McDonald house for kids who are sick?
Yeah.
Isn't the whole point to help people who are sick?
And the McDonald's is for people who want to get sick.
Yes, absolutely. Well, true. Well, they're not loving it after they go through.
You're leaving without care.
Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Your killer T-cell count doesn't exist.
You're hurting families.
This is just absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And the way they justify it is, well, look, this is the Ronald McDonald house. We have kids here with cancer. We have kids here with spinal meningitis. We have kids here with sickle cell. And if you're not vaccinated, they could get the sniffles.
And by the way, if you are vaccinated, they can still get the sniffles, apparently.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we just want to give them a completely non-experimental, totally effective vaccine.
Right, yeah, well, it comes in
That's
a Happy Meal now. It's just the hamburger.
Yeah, it's true.
Runs in and just sticks you in the neck.
It's just a syringe that's filled with it. One of the Fry kids give it to.
Yeah, and ground up Beanie Babies.
Yeah, while Grimace gets a whatever transgender surgery.
Well,
what is Grimace? Boy or girl? What do you think?
We should not say.
Yeah, we shouldn't say.
We shouldn't.
That's true. Grimace is the first genitalia.
I'm not entirely convinced that if Lizzo unzips her fat suit, she isn't Grimace under.
She might be.
The Cookie Monster.
Surprise, bitches! So let me just tell you something about Canada. Okay, and specifically my home province of Quebec. They are, to give you a list and all references available at loudestcrowder.com, imposing a health contribution tax on the unvaccinated. Okay, they've banned dog walking during curfew, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. They're mandating vaccines for liquor and cannabis stores because, by God, if people aren't vaccinated, something could go wrong at the local liquor store.
I love the cannabis store part. If you want to get high, you got to have a vaccine. You're good at sticking your arm, right? Come on.
Vaccine after next.
Yeah, really, the only thing that you can rely on is being blind drunk.
Yes.
That's the healthiest thing for a society.
Absolutely, yeah. I was getting it vaccinated, but I was blind, stinking drunk. Name that movie line. And they're soon going to be mandating a booster shot, which just seems like, why do any of this at this point? And also, some of you know him as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and a lot of you say, he's the guy who does blackface like every other Tuesday. I know him as the biggest piece of who's ever lived?
Yes.
So, depending on, I just want to make sure that you're all familiar. He was asked on a French-Canadian show, and I speak French, so I might have to translate if you're listening on audio here. There are subtitles. What bothers me is he's actually speaking the wrong French. He's speaking in joie and French-Canadian accent. Yeah, he corrects him. So, in other words, it would be like me showing. It's just like when Biden would say, I want to put you all back in chains.
Well, like when Hillary Clinton's...
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing that with the French. And the left is the party. They're the compassionate party. We just saw they want to make sure that we get rid of kids from Ronald McDonald houses. Now, this is not some kind of extremist view. This is the mainstream view of the left platform. This is the mainstream view of the country that exists that is most similar to America. They're supposed to be compassionate, tolerant, and here he is actually using those words. Prime Minister Blackface himself saying, we shouldn't tolerate these people. And by the way, these people, these are, the enemies of the state, as Joe Biden, former Vice President Biden would put it, but really just the unvaxxed. Listen to this man speak.
On va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes.
So if they don't get vaccinated, they're misogynist and racist.
Un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait faire, se sont fait vacciner, on veut revenir aux choses qu'on aime faire. C'est pas ces gens-là qui vont nous bloquer maintenant.
So a couple of things there. First off, are you seeing the pattern here? When he says 80%, he's saying 80% of Quebecers are vaccinated, so we won't tolerate these people. Do you see why democracy doesn't work? Do you see why mob rule is a lie? Do you understand why it's important that we're a constitutional republic? It doesn't matter if 80% of Quebecers are vaccinated. 70% of them marry their cousins. So the rule that they always use to justify is, well, most Australians are okay with it, so you should go to your self-quarantine camp. Well, most Quebecers are okay with it, therefore we shouldn't tolerate these people who are unvaccinated. And he throws in there, he says, these people who are, and I'm sorry, my brain, I keep going back from French to English, saying there are these extremist groups who are opposed to the vaccination. They're usually racist, they're usually misogynist. Hold on a second, what are the most vaccine-hesitant groups? Can I just, minorities and pregnant women?
Yes.
But they're racist and misogynist against themselves.
They can't help but fit it in. They can't help it. Just say, hey, look, we're totalitarian, okay? And by the way, when these people blame the unvaccinated, they're still locking down in countries where they are almost entirely vaccinated. Right. Why do you need any rules in Quebec if it's 80% vaccinated?
Right.
You're well past any threshold that was supposed to be met for herd immunity. Are you starting to understand? This has nothing to do with science and everything to do with control.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.